to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about the end of the bull market. We have to talk about peak scenarios, something no one wants to hear about right now in this environment, as we are getting more and more bullish, but I think it's the right time to talk about it. I found a very interesting thread to discuss with you, and then we are going to look at altcoins, obviously Ethereum and so on as well, because we expect massive good times still in that space. So over the next 2 months we are expecting massive bull run euphoria, but we should have in mind what can happen here. So we are going to look at a little bit of content around this, and then we also talk about Ecomi and VeVe in the end briefly, because I think there are a couple of things to discuss there as well. But yeah, make sure to stay all the way through here. So, good morning, each and every one of you. It is time for another Crypto Morning Coffee. Big sips of coffee here while we are talking. Bitcoin is moving sideways-ish to down. Should we be worried? Question mark. We do see the week has started red. This doesn't have to stay that way, but what we see is we have some wicks to the upside, indicating that there's sell pressure coming in from the top, which is normal. The profits are flowing right now mostly into Ethereum, as we have seen. I made a video about the Ethereum strategy, Ethereum flow, so you are best covered there. Before we start here our discussion, make sure to smash up the like button right now, subscribe to the channel, notifications on and so on. So I would be really glad if you could hit this like button here. So I found this thread very, very interesting from CryptoBurb here, and he says, I'm starting the Bitcoin cycle peak countdown. We're 997 days in, so that was 4 days ago, so we are 1001 days now in. Halving math plus history says the clock hits zero in a little over 70 days, right? So here we have a little bit of a graphic how this could look, that we are still going somewhere to 190k within those little less than 70 days. And he says we're really late. Let's pull this up. Since the November 2022 cycle low, it's been 1,000 days. I'm going to correct these numbers now because of to have the exact days, right? That's about 90% through a typical Bitcoin bull market, which usually lasts 1,060 to 1,100 days from bottom to top. And price-wise, the best is yet to come. Yeah, so we see it here also in the cycle comparison. We had our pre-top in the last cycle already at this point. If you compare the cycle length, the first run is a little bit an outlier. It has 2 tops and just goes completely nuts. And then we only have one other cycle to compare to, right? And that is the 2017 cycle. What we did not have is this parabolic phase here to the upside, right? So where is this? Where is this last leg? There's indication that it can come now, right? So halving to peak time is where the source is, right? So here we have it. So how long does it take from the halving until the peak, right? And you see that when you do it halving to peak, we have a peak here, we have a peak here, and we do have a peak here, which is the second peak, where you could even argue that the real peak is somewhere here, right? So, but 2017 wise, even we're very close. So maybe a blip up here into the 150, 180k range, and that's it, right? That's the next 2 months. So the times were 366 days, 526 days, 548 days, and 550 days. So what we see is halving to peak has lengthened actually by about a month throughout the last cycles, from 526 to 550, not even a month, right? So we could argue that this one puts the next peak between October 19th and November 20th, assuming that we get something between 518 days, which would be a little bit below the 2016-17 one, and then to 580 days, which would support the lengthening theory, okay? So October 19th to November 20th. I will show you that there's a theory which puts the top a little bit earlier, which is not in here, right? Not in this thing. Okay, but bull market length, how long does the bull market last? Okay, here we see, right, there's a bull, peak, bear, and so on, right? And the axis here, I think 7x or something like that. And then we had 350 in the very first, which was a weird one, but then 746 days in the second here, and then 1068 days and 1061 days. So calculating that we have something about 1060 days to 1100 days to go, right? Which would, with 1100, put it somewhere in December, right? And not into November or even October, as we say. So where are we now? Big question. Where are we now in the cycle? He says. And wait a second, where's the text from that? So that we can look what he said here. Oh, here is it. So cycle low was 997 days ago. Days since last halving, 482. And now the peak odds are the highest in the next 3 months, with the sweet spot between October 15, November 15. So a little bit broader, a little bit more adjusted the range to the middle, but it's mostly the same as we have seen before. Yeah, and then it goes on, right? But what's important is the seasonality. What can we expect out of the month? So we have seen stuff like this before, where you see the returns per month, right? So the average return that Bitcoin has in each month. And we see there are good returns in the beginning of the year. Then we have this summer dull, which we are in right now, where the average for August is only 2.48%. And then we expect a bad average return out of Bitcoin on September, right? That's not a guarantee. But look at October, November returns. Insane. 19% and 43%. So let's just say Bitcoin goes from where we are 19%. That would bring it to 136,000, which is exactly our top. And then from there, it goes 43%, which would be its average November return. I had it. Yeah. would bring it to 197,000. Yeah, so this is if it behaves like it always does, that would be the average return. The only thing that's missing is that we are coming out in a, let's see on the monthly. The only thing that's missing that we are coming out slightly in the green right now, and then minus 1.8 in the next cycle. Okay, but these returns of October, November, these could be really, really big, right? And that could be where the market moves altogether, right? So I do think that these returns, they can happen again like this, right? So yeah. So now the question is which day exactly? Then you can say, okay, you are now in this window. You know that October, November have the highest returns on average for Bitcoin. If you are saying Mondays and Wednesdays see slightly stronger daily returns, the following can be candidates, right? The following days. Mondays, October 20, October 27, November 3rd, 10th, and 17th, or October 22, 29, November 5, 12, 19, right? So somewhere in between Mondays and Wednesdays, strongest days, should then be also the candidates to be the top candidates, right? So yeah. You can read this whole thread. I'm not going to go into each of these things, right? There are a couple of things about the odds of when of which day and seasonality of Bitcoin supply halving and whatnot. But I think that is interesting. Another one that I just found before that I did not even look in, but maybe it's fun to look in, is someone wrote, I just saw this before the stream, so I don't know how good the quality is, but I want to look into it, so I hope you're excited as well. And that is, I went back to see what your favorite CT accounts were posting, probably crypto Twitter accounts were posting at peak of 2021 bull. The takes aged like milk and a few like fine wine. Okay, interesting, right? So this one aged like fine wine, probably. This guy said, Ansem said, if this market doesn't nuke soon, my trading intuition is broken. He has just posted this exactly at the top. Peak timing, scary good. Then we do have CZ, who says, don't worry about competition. It will make your industry bigger, which in turn helps you embrace it. Doesn't really have anything to do with directly with the top prediction, but CZ accidentally dropped a spoiler here because FTX got wiped out a year later in this bear market. Let's see. Small thing we have here. Observe the daily close. I'm not going to read that. Sleep deprived sponge observes CL approaching in a sneaky, stalky manner after running out of socks. Okay, that doesn't make sense at all. I don't know if that's a peak post, but it seems like it somehow, right? Might make some clickbait YouTube content. How I became a billionaire from $200 in just 5 years while averaging only 3 sober days per week. Gonna record it in a seaplane with my butler and my butler's butler. I think this is I think this is basically the euphoria tweet that you can have. Let's see 2-3 more of these. I want to see if there's anyone who like really called for 10x or something from there. What the hell does OpenSea spend all their money on? That is an absolute fair question at the peak, from Thread Guy. Beeple posted this, probably a massive pump. So it seems that many of these were accurate. What was a V rough BTC 8% drop? To be honest, it made me momentarily uncomfy. I think it's fair to say we deserve a bounce to 100k for this mild inconvenience. that one is juicy. Yeah. Okay. Where's the bounce? I remember this meme. You guys remember this meme? Bounce or I cut it off. Yeah. Some people, I think some people did cut it off. On the last cycle. So it's crazy what happened right last cycle. If there's one thing you learn from me, 9 of 10 people on CT can't trade at all. It's just a snake oil salesmen LARPing as traders. They rely on private sales, undisclosed advertisements, insider knowledge, and or pumping dumping alts to make dollar. When called out, they preach positivity. Based, but not really a prediction. Let's see. This is good. This is a great one. Kaleo posted, it's over for the Bears. Clean retest, plenty of noise around ATH. Breakout as expected. I like it. Just keep stacking. Okay. I mean, many did, right, for the last bull. I mean, and to be honest, I mean, I'm not unguilty of this because I also thought it's going to go higher. But it's I think it's good to see what the end phase will look like, because there will be both narratives out there, but the ones that say it's going to continue, they will be louder, right? It was over for the bulls. Stop selling the coins, you poors. It's also crazy. That is also crazy. Look at this. Anyways, I think that is enough from the from that thing. Let's go quickly and welcome our rare hodlers here. Let's welcome the chat and see who is there. Troy Paris. Let's go. Let's end it strong. Yo, Morning PH and the hodlers. Hello, Puka Yoltich. Good morning to you. G Money, good morning to you as well. We do have Adam Treychak also in the house with a nice diamond colored medal and our gold medal hodlers all around. Welcome to you all, and then also the Eagles fan and the Pimpin' Grandpa. welcome to the channel. What the heck is this name? Okay, so let's look at bull market peak indicators, because so you can, as always, you can look those up on CoinGlass and for free, and they are saying 100% hold, no sell. So these things, let's see how good they are this cycle, but overall, that no one hit yet tells us a little bit about the story. And also remember, there's the Pi cycle top indicator, one of the most important ones to call the top. And this is interesting. Pi cycle is now already closing in at 63%. This has in fact changed a little bit, and let's see how it looks. If we can pull it up here, let's see. There we go. So we do see the lines of the Pi cycle, they did not really converge. It also has to do a little bit with that this market is going up, but so flat, right? I mean, it did not converge yet, but one fat pump, right? You see, the more parabolic you go, the more you bring this 111 DMA line into the green line. This is how the Pi cycle top is going to be determined. And so we are coming closer. The value is increasing of that. And cycle is cooked thanks to Trump's big, beautiful terrorists and small, ugly. Okay. Maybe, but I don't think so. I really don't think that tariffs do much the deal, right? Because people are like, oh, tariffs, inflation, and Powell cannot cut because of that, and that is wrecking the bull market. It's not. Tariffs are a tax, not a price increase. taxes increase the price towards the consumer, but the consumer they spend less on that, right? So which maintains then in the long run the price is stable instead of inflation, where also salaries go like crazy, right? Through the money printing, salaries go up, price go up, back and forth, and who doesn't get a raise falls behind. So I disagree a little bit on that, and I don't think the cycle is cooked yet. But let's look at this here. So we do have the Pi cycle is very important. MVRVZ score, another one, now at 50%. So we are getting some bounce action on the MVRVZ score, but we're still not there, right? The explosive move is not there yet. Either way, inflation is ticking up, and PPI went up 1% in 1 month. Cooked CPI soon. That is possible, but PPI bounces are not as relevant. We have seen many of them before, and still the market sees a rate cut chance of 94% for in 30 days. So we will see how that pans out. MVRVZ score completely underwhelming. So also that, right? So we have a lot of these indicators, these classical indicators, not showing a top, but I will show you one, and this is one where I say, okay, we are very much to the end. And also here you see it, right? RSI 22-day, 61%. We're not there yet. But altcoin season index, 73%, almost there. Bitcoin dominance, 90%, almost there. Right, so on that value now, I don't know if we have hit this already and it went back, because I don't know how this works, that if it hits it, locks it in or so. Bitcoin long-term holder supply 86, Bitcoin short-term holder supply 71% there to the value, right? So a lot of things are closing. This one, crypto Bitcoin bull run index 88.89%. That one is very close. Then Bitcoin trend indicator is very close to top. So we have, this was not like this before, right? So we have been coming closer. We do see the golden ratio multiplier 85% also, right? So a lot is coming closer, but not quite there yet for Bitcoin. Hopefully the Fed cuts in September, otherwise market will truly dump, especially if the market is pricing in a cut with 90% probability. I do think we will get a cut in September, and there are some of the usual suspects of like Moody's, Standard & Poor's, whatever these rating houses, that they think that we will get 3 to 4 cuts this year. So that could still boost the market quite some bits. Now, massive caution raised on one indicator, and that is the TSI. Looking at the TSI total strength indicator, we have this trend line here from here to here, the last tops. And now we do see. Why do I say caution? Because we are very, very close, but we're not quite there yet, right? For this hit. So there is 1 or 2 months, which coincides with what we just heard on this thread. But we are about to hit our head at this trend line. And someone asked me a year ago when I said, okay, we are coming close cycle-wise, timing-wise, we are closer. Look at this. Can we break it? Sure, we can, but it's highly unlikely, I would say, that we break it. So this would be the confirmed beginning of the bear market. The cross hitting the head was the top. You can see it also. I go back. Hitting the head was the top here, this previous top, right? Coinciding with the RSI here. And then here in this cycle, hitting the head on this trend was the top, coinciding with a very high RSI. So what we need technically here is a pump out of Bitcoin that brings the RSI into overbought territory, would automatically also mark the top in the TSI, and it coincides with 1 or 2 months, maybe 3 months more action in the stochastic RSI, and then that's it, right? then that's it. So I'd say I completely go with Crypto Burb's assumption of 15th of October to 15th or 19th of October to 20th of November, something like that, right? Indicators may not be able to identify that type of top. I think so too, because like the exact top, these indicators that I'm showing, all of these give you a rough estimate where you are. For example, if you have all these indicators here, right, aligned for this top, then you would still have a range from at least here to here, which is 30% difference. It's the difference between 100K and 70K. So you are not able to hit the exact top with that, but you know that you've topped already. But you see that the monthly candle range also here, right? The monthly candle range on this, where this indicator hits its head, is roughly 50%. So it just tells you, hey, you've topped somewhere here, right? You've topped, but you don't know if you've topped at 19,000 or at 12,000 or at 9,000. So this still is what we need to have as a disclaimer here. Yeah, I fully agree with you on that. So you will not identify the top, plus some of these indicators that are in this list, they might not even work anymore. Who knows, right? Some of these might never hit. These are just indicators. I'd say the more indicators you put in of quality, like Pi cycle and MVRVZ score, the closer you can get to knowing when this could be, right? Could be especially brutal for altcoin holders if Total 3 can't break its high at 1.16 trillion. I do think it will, and I will make a case for that. Caution here for a bigger dip, by the way, from Crypto Rover, Bitcoin rising wedge breaking downside. Let's talk about the only driver that gives you pump or dump, and that is M2 global liquidity. And here we have it again, right? We have been following this quite some time. This is projecting $150,000 Bitcoin, which is absolutely realistic in my opinion. And it says we are consolidating quite some time. You see, sometimes we do not have the 100% correlation, as you see here. Too early, too late, too early, too late, right? Maybe too late a little bit, then pump again, bam. Then people get excited again. Then profits go sideways for a longer time. So it seems that we are not as steep anymore, also on the M2 expansion. But I do think that we are not done yet. And I do think that you say total 3, total 2, total 3, it doesn't matter, or it's ETH or Solana, let's put it that way. Let's look at this quickly together, since you've brought it up for the altcoins. So total 2, I don't know why on the monthly this is a little bit out of whack, but if you pull it here, it's not it's not to the side anymore. Yeah, so we have this mega cup and handle pattern. It becomes very evident on the weekly, where you really have these candle closes exactly there. And we do get a rejection here, and you're right. If we collapse and just go away, then all altcoins are lost. But there is still a good chance that we get positive momentum here, and we could wiggle around and below this somewhere, but somewhere in September to October, we should really break this and then get a God candle or something like that to the upside. If not, yes, then everyone in altcoins will be wrecked, burned, and expect that altcoins are not the way to go anymore. If this happens, as you say, we will, we will lose. I think that's maybe the cleanup that the altcoin space would need. I don't just know if it happens this cycle. I don't think prior tops did not correlate very well with the M2 money supply. Tops were off by numbers, by numerous months. It will be this time as well. I think that the global M2 will rise, and here's why. Look at this. So let's say you are a trader or whatever, and you look at this and you see a top formation here months ago, or months in the future, right? You see a top formation in global M2. Then you sell here already, right? You don't wait until this follows it, until this top where everyone knows it, right? You're saying, okay, I see the top, so I'm going to, the profits are fine, I'm going to front run this. Let's say we're here, right? Let's say we do this pump and we front run this top formation that we see here. You already see it, like a higher high, a higher low, but potentially a lower high here. So it's already starting, right? People are like, maybe if enough people look at this and they start selling here because they see this here, then this will be off by months, right? And the global M2 could even rise more. People would start selling into that, and it ends, and from there it depacks already. So all these models, they're only good until they're not anymore. So if everyone front runs what they see here, then they will depack here, the price action, right? I do think there will be a little bit more following the M2, but at some point this will be off. And exactly for hitting the top, it will not work, as you say. I absolutely agree again. But here's why I still look at it, because until now it's correct. So the trend is your friend until the end, right? So this is very interesting to me, how this unfolds. Good morning, Green Lantern GM boys, like driving and paying attention. So we do have this on the total 2. Let's look at the total 3, and I want to make a point also for like what Pimpin' Grandpa said right now. I will show you one more thing that really shows that altcoins could get wrecked big time. So here we see, I mean, this we saw many red candles here throughout this all unfolding. We have the same setup, we have a nice trend, blah blah. We could have green candles here and just bam, right? We go. No guarantees until this pattern is complete. It's not until the breakout and the retest, right? It's not complete. It's just an idea. It's when I look at this, I see this and I see this unfolding, and it could happen, right? But it doesn't say, oh, this is the setup, it will be a full self-fulfilling prophecy, it will happen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I see this and it looks extremely bullish to me, okay? Now, one that doesn't look that bullish is others. Look at the others. I mean, I see the same pattern unfolding here. We see the same pattern, but the way to close this is massive. Like, we need massive liquidity flowing into this to complete this as well. So you see from the total 2, which is basically completing this pattern, to others, which is everything outside the top 10, there's a massive gap, which makes sense from the altcoin money flow perspective, right? So total 2 should always be in front of total 3, and total 3 should be in front of others. But what's really scary is others' dominance. Others' dominance, one second. Wait a second, there you go. Others' dominance is like, here on the logarithmic, right? I mean, multi-year channel, broken to the downside, a little bit greenish already, but I mean, what the heck, maybe, and if the scenario of Pimpin' Grandpa plays out, maybe a bearish retest and boom, right, the absolute collapse of all other altcoins. Maybe. This is the bearish thing. The other thing is fake into go here, right? Everything can happen. Yeah, don't drive and text. Absolutely. But this others' dominance wrecked, right? For the moment. Let's see how it plays out in the future. Zachary Bird says, I have one ETH coin. I'm very new. When should I sell, or should I hold long term? No one can tell you that, but I for one, I'm going to tell my Telegram group, in the Telegram group, when I'm going to sell, which is not then financial advice. But here's Ethereum. So Ethereum has broken out. Ethereum has hit its all-time high, more or less, but got rejected. This is why the entire market gets rejected right now. I do think that Ethereum will pump more. I personally, without giving any financial advice, will sell my Ethereum at around the $6,000 mark. And maybe that's too soon. But I, for one, will take profit somewhere there. If I do it earlier or a little bit later, I will let everyone know in my Telegram group. For that, you have to subscribe to the Rare Hodler tier if you want. Yeah. And then you will be invited there. But that's my. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that breakout target here of 7,000 roughly, and I see that we have hit 4,700. Blah blah. I think we will go more. This is ETH against BTC. I do think there is more, right? That ETH will come up and to higher valuation against BTC in this run still in the next. So this took from here, this pump, this took 100 days, 105 days. So I'd say we go to here in whatever, like another 2-3 months, right? And then it's over. That's where the run is over, right? That for ETH. Now for that, massive amounts of money have to flow into ETH, which I do think can happen as everyone is talking bullishly now about Ethereum. Okay, cycle-wise, we look different than normal. Institutional, so the cycle is different, yes. It's an institutional structured bid instead of retail euphoria, which makes it a little bit different, and it also explains why so many altcoins are falling behind in this cycle. Yeah, because all altcoins that are doing well right now are somewhat either working with institutions or available via ETFs or of interest to institutions. Look at Chainlink, for example. Chainlink did phenomenally right now. Yeah, it's still not there where I think it's going to go. So look at this Link USDT. Also, right, you have this setup here for Link. It's not at all-time high yet, but it does really well already. There are some large caps that do really well, and these are the like look at XRP, look at Chainlink, and so on. Everything that works with institution, they are doing well right now. Let's look at the market together. And guys, don't forget to smash up the like button. It helps this channel really much. I hope that we get more retail excitement soon. But we do have basically OKB holding up the green in the market. We do have Link and ADA in the positive. Exactly what I said right now. ADA also right, more institutional. Overall, we are quite in the red. 3 to 6%. A lot red, some green, some coins move, most don't, right? Some really wrecked. Zora minus 25, Mock minus 25, Doc minus 24, and so on. So there's some shakeout going on. I think it will be, it could take a bit, but there will be massive green. I don't think that this is the end. Let's quickly check out Link against BTC if Link is outperforming BTC. Yeah, it did not yet break trend. Link against BTC, but look at this, man. Oh my god, if this for Link breaks out, this is going to be massive. Yeah, so if this breaks out, the Link against BTC, bam, this is going to be what a rise. This is going to be absolutely impressive. Of course, it can happen that we just come back here and we just go lower again. But if we at one point break out of this, wow, this is going to be brutal. I mean, this is the monthly chart, right? Yes, we are coming to Omi in a second. So yeah, you're welcome. At what point would you say BTC and ETH look bearish? Price points? It's hard to say. against against USD, which we only have for BTC, right? I'd say BTC looks bearish the moment that we hit an RSI of 80 plus. The TSI hits this trend line and we are in this upper zone for the stochastic RSI. That's where I would say I flip bearish on BTC. For ETH, it's clear for me. The moment that we hit this here is definitely over for ETH. The moment that we hit this, but I would not even wait until then. This upper zone here is already enough for me, and then be ETH on 7K breakout target hit. I would say that's where we could think it goes bearish. What's also important to me is let's see. Yeah, here for example, right? ETH just puts in a bull cross on the monthly for the TSI, just is at 63 RSI, so not even, look at here, we were at 90 overbought, right? And then we still went some. We do have positive momentum still going on, so for me, ETH is in a bull phase, and it's going to be bullish for another 2 to 3 months at least, I think. So I just, and then I discuss another theory or another strategy in my video, my latest video. So you could also think about going from ETH to another altcoin right now, as the timing would be perfect for that, in my opinion. But I'm not going to follow this strategy because I want to be able to sleep at night. So I'm just maximizing my profits in the picks that I am in, right? If price drops though, when would you be bearish? Oh, okay, that way. Good question. Good fucking question. Sub 100K. If we lose this level this year, let's put this red. If we lose this level, I'll probably be bearish, and especially bearish I would be if we put in this here, because then you see what's coming, right? That would be like a head and shoulders or something, and I think we would probably form something like this, right? You go higher first, but then bam, and then it's a super side. This one here, something like this, you go to 170K or so, you come back, and then here at I don't know where, at 80K or so, we're coming back, and then oh no, it was just a back test here, like a bigger back test, it's a super cycle, and then the other shoulder, and then boom, right? Could be, who knows, right? But head and shoulders is possible. We had one here basically, right? We had this formation here, head and shoulders. But this would be where I would be bearish, and I would be cautiously bearish if we lose 100K. Then bearish. But everything higher, like if we back test on 100K and go further, I don't see a problem. For Ethereum, it would be if we lose the breakout. If we come. So for example, for Ethereum, we could come back and test this, no problem. But if we fall back into this, it's over, right? Then the bears won. Yeah, I want to see strong continuation out of Ethereum here. Okay. So we did discuss the weakness here of that. Let's see quickly. So here, rate cut. 92% chance in about 30 days, okay? So this is what the market sees right now. They see strong chance that the rate gets cut. Let's look at our favorite shitcoin, Omi. That looks really bad, right? Really, really bad. Omi BTC. Let's see if there's a chart for Omi BTC. No, only already BTC. I think Omi BTC is not even it's not even a chart. Anyways, important is nothing has changed in the past really. we are still creeping around the lows, which makes sense at this point still. It doesn't make sense to creep around the lows, right? But the sell pressure, we do see that there's no really, like these long wicks, there's no really this pump action anymore, which we had here, right? Wick and then sold into like the whales. Where are the whales, right? So for this coin, wow, we will see. At some point, I still expect Omi to pump, but when, I don't know, right? Still, also here, I like to look at the monthly, see if we can put in the bull cross here, right? It's unconfirmed yet, but here would be a bull cross to be expected at some point, and then hopefully it looks better. Absolute shit coin at the moment, but one that we want to see succeed. Calling it a shitcoin is wild, considering you've been behind the VeVe project for a long time. Yes, but from a chart perspective, it's still a shitcoin. I mean, look at the performance. Yeah, and the VeVe project is the project where the NFTs are on, where I have a lot of them. Like I put in at more than $10K into the collectibles, but I did not buy that much of the Ecomi token, right? So, and by the way, I don't have an affiliate program or anything, so I can call it whatever I want. But from a chart perspective, it's absolute shitcoin. Will it change? Hopefully so, right? I think there is possibility to switch sentiment quite quickly. Yeah, but still, I mean, look at the chart and tell me that you're not like, what if there was any other coin with this chart? Yeah, what the heck? Yeah. Troy says, gonna be really tough for a pump without a US exchange. Exactly. So let's maybe go more into why this needs to be called a shitcoin, right? You take the exchanges, and you see you have not gotten any significant exchanges, right? Yeah, feels like a bottom. There's one thing this year, right? You have a lot of volume on Gate.io, to say, right? And you have this flattening out a little bit. This is the only good thing that I can see from this chart. I don't know how much sell pressure is still left in the selling entities and accounts. I don't know. But yeah, right now you see you are basically red. There, it has been a long, like the last green monthly candle was last year. Okay. Considering that we have already an Ethereum breakout, you would expect that at some point there's some momentum coming in. So, clear, concise roadmap for Ecomi is needed. UX exchange is needed. Real exchanges, not any wallet where you could technically buy and so on. We've seen you can buy it on Robinhood through a wallet. You can buy it on Binance through through the Coinbase wallet and so on. That's fine. Web3 approach, influencer marketing, Omi in the VeVeverse, with the VeVeverse having actual usage and so on, right? Solving app issues. Actually, I've been doing some things in the VeVe app lately, and I have to say the performance improved. So I'd say we can add here improved. Then there are some discussions around to drop. But okay, on the VeVe side, like mobile works okay-ish. We have the Apple fee removed. That is good. The lawsuit is over. The appeal time is over. So technically, with some big news, you should be able to turn this around, given that there's not billions upon billions left to sell into each new pump, right? But I think the most important thing is to turn sentiment around. And going back to what Orange Green said, I can call it a shitcoin. I still have my Omi. I have not sold a single Omi. And I want this to succeed. I want this coin to succeed. I want this coin to go up like 1000x and so on. I would be really happy. But right now, from a chart perspective, looks really shitty, which is okay, But it can't go flat line from here, right? That's just not an option. We do have some things moving. Here, Crypto Cosmo coming out saying great info from David Yu and VeVe Official. NFTs are going to have an explosive second cycle. However big you are thinking for this coming NFT cycle, think bigger. Why? There has been an article on Altcoin Desk featuring VeVe co-founder CEO, and there's the link. Digital collectibles are the next evolution of blockchain technology, moving into the metaverse, gaming, and so on. Let's look at it quickly. Yeah, 1000x, you would have to come to Decon. Yeah, exactly. I will come, like, if we get 1000x, I will come everywhere. Yeah, you know, let me get my wedding through, and then we'll see where we meet up next time, because I'm really stuck in all this wedding preparation and 1,000 million small things to do, and then other, you know, work on the side and everything. So yeah, so we have this article here. So VeVe bridges nostalgia with digital innovation using blockchain NFTs. Inspiration came from CryptoKitties. The light bulb moment really hit when I learned about CryptoKitty. David Yu says, at its peak, the project was so popular it clogged the Ethereum network. Wow. VeVe's goal isn't to replace physical collectibles, but to add a new dimension, available and so on. So I hope this article gets some reads, right? Because I think it's pretty good to have, like, once again, weathering market volatility. NFT sales fell from 823 million in Q2 down, or fell to 823 million in Q2 2025, down from 4 billion a year earlier, according to Depot Radar. Some doubt their future, but Yu believes collectors buy out of passion, not just profit. I make the argument with yes, but no. You need every healthy market has all the spectrum of players, right? Every healthy market has all players. Every healthy market has speculators, flippers, long-term investors, and passionate people, right? Take the real estate market, buying houses and apartments. There are investors and investment conglomerates that buy it for profit. There are flippers that buy, then they do something with their apartment, like renew it and reform it, and then throw it on the market again, make a profit, or they buy and throw it on the market again directly, right? Then there are people that just love this house at the North Sea and the beautiful landscape and so on. They buy it and they hold it and they never give it away, even if they get nice bids, right? There are people that are just passing by. They buy one thing, then after a while they sell it and they walk away from the market. Everything. This is the real estate market is technically a healthy market, right? And you have this everywhere. Stocks. You have day traders, you have speculators, you have swing traders, long-term traders, breakout traders, value investors, family investors, dividend strategy, blah, blah. Stock market, healthy market, right? So you can't stand here and say the VeVe market, we need only collectors that buy out of passion and not just for profit, right? Of course, it's a healthy market, collectibles. Pokemon cards, same thing. Some people speculate on it. I have a box in the cellar that went up 10x already, right? Evolving Skies. Yeah, I love it, but I also want to make a profit. Yeah, so that's it. Going phygital and global, VeVe's user base is 40% US based. Here, look at this. VeVe's user base is 40% US based. You want them to use the Ecomi token, give them US exchange. Yeah, the SEC is not going after anyone anymore. You can basically do what you want. You sees Japan, Korea as major growth areas, especially with strong anime and culture openness to digital collecting. Japan's collectibles market alone is valued 16 billion and could reach 23 billion by 2030. VeVe is even opening physical shops. VeVe is opening physical shops for its digital NFTs. I want to see that. That is crazy. David mentioned gaming verticals again in recent interview. That is good because I think gaming is where the spark comes into NFTs again. I do think this will happen. Are NFTs sustainable? During NFT boom, critics raise concerns about this environmental impact of, like, no one cares on the NFT side. The VeVe verdict: NFTs aren't replacing physical collectibles, they're expanding what ownership means. VeVe proves this isn't about swapping shelves for servers, it's about creating a new layer of collecting for the next generation. That childhood nostalgia you treasure, it might just live on the blockchain now. Absolutely. Like, I mean, for me, it's absolute nostalgia. Some of these collectibles. Even it created a new nostalgia. I want that feeling back when comics were new and we were going for the drops. That feeling was so great. I mean, I was literally paying $20 for a stupid common that exists 60,000 times, because at that time it was worth it, right? So maybe if we get the sentiment back and more users back, maybe that happens, right? Yeah, I want to see that physical shop. VeVe vending machines would be cool. Yeah, absolutely. And vending machines with a phygital, right? So where you can get this thing in the vending machine, and then you can make a VeVe account and then put the code in, right? So this vending machine somewhere. It would be even cool if this was some kind of a franchise, and that I can buy a vending machine, and put it here in Germany somewhere, and then make profit with this, like make money with this. That would be great. Maybe we have to talk to David about this thing. VeVe user base growing. Yeah, let's refresh this page just to be sure. VeVe user base growing. We do have 666, 8,270, 827. By the way, we need to get some more so that this evil number is disappearing here. Okay, but we did jump again about 30 users here, so we do see these jumps. Maybe it's in drops or so, but we do see this went from 500 in July 17th in a month to 827, which is roughly 330 new users or wallets that went non-zero, let's put it that way to be absolute correct, in 1 month. 300. That's not bad. Because it's going up. I mean, non-zero. Also, we see that some floor prices slightly went up. I've seen, for example, Silver Surfer went like 120% for me since I bought it. Just checked yesterday. 120% gain is better than most altcoins right now. So that is good. We do see minting going on 3 minutes ago. We do a lot of Lightyear. People are minting Lightyear. People are trading comics. Even like old Spider-Man and so on. Everything's going on here in the market. Just in the last hour, you see all of this is like it's happening in the last hour here. You see like 30 minutes ago, everything that I'm scrolling through. Mint, transfer, everything. A lot of mints of what somehow doesn't have an idea, but we are still. Whoops. Where is my? I just jumped to the desktop. Sorry for that. A lot of mints here that are happening in the in the past time, right? So that is it. That is what is going on here. So yeah. I think that VeVe, I mean, although we have way more tokens minted, I think that VeVe can have a strong comeback, that this market action will increase. But we need the altcoin season first, right? We need the degeneracy first. We need the narratives playing out, like AI narrative, gaming narrative, and so on. And then it will be good. Now, make sure to drop the like button here, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, notifications on. And guys, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I catch you in the next video or live stream. Stay tuned and bye.